Fitz, we see this all the time. Can a PTA treat a mobile client?
Okay, so that's a very good question. So I'm going to answer this two ways. So there's a yes and a no question, a yes or a no answer. So the no answer is if the patient is being seen under Medicare. Medicare rule states that if a patient is, if a PTA wants to see a patient, it must be under direct supervision from the treating therapist. What this means is line of sight. What this means is that you have to be in the same home with the client. Now, here's where it can get interesting. Let's say you have a husband and wife. If you get a husband or wife that needs treated, technically you can have a PTA come in the same time you're there. So you can both treat together. You treat the husband, they treat the wife, because you're in line of sight. Now, somebody asked you this question today. I forgot who it was. Actually, I got a lot of questions today, but somebody asked me this question. Can I use FaceTime and to see a client? And I think I asked as well to Nancy Beckley, and she said no. So I can't be on FaceTime, and that is not considered, and that won't be considered direct supervision. So yes, so in general, a PTA cannot see mobile clients under Medicare unless the PT is in the home with the PTA.
And again, if I'm hearing you right, if that service is falling under Medicare, the Medicare guidelines or whatever, they're being billed Medicare, the answer is no.
Yes, well, two things. So if you bill Medicare and also you want to look at your State Practice Act. So what Medicare says that it must be under direct supervision or your State Practice Act, whichever is stricter. So whichever one is more strict. So in Florida, it's general. That's the rule. So if I have a client if I have a PTA under my business and I'm seeing like a cash patient doing physical therapy, they can go into the house and they can see the client, or on this other insurances. Medicare says, no, we want direct supervision. You need to be in the house with that client, with that PTA while they're seeing that client, which of course destroys the purpose, because why would you have the PTA see the client while you're there twiddling your thumbs when you could just see the client yourself, Right. But like I said, if you have a husband and wife combo, or you have two people living in the same home, this is where you can get to the point of doing this. Also, I had another plan that was stamped as well. I was thinking, if I'm seeing a client next door, I can just look through the window and say, oh, there's my PTA, seeing the client.
Right.
That won't work either. Medicare won't fly with that.
Well, how about if they're across the street and you go into your person's garage and they go into their person's garage?
So Medicare says, based on what I read, it may have changed, but they want you in the same room with the client. So they even had a rule, and I'm see if it's changed. They said if you were like in a different area of a building, if you're in a different area of the building and they were in a certain building, that's not direct, because you're not directly in there with them. You're not physically in there with them. Right. So yeah, with the PTA question, now there's another way you can do it. So another way you can do it is, and I know some people do this, is if you credential your company as a rehab agency. So if you credential your company as a rehab agency, and honestly, I'm not the expert on that. I think now Nancy Beckley is the expert on that. If you do that, then you can hire PTAs to see clients. The only downside to it is there's a cost to getting credentials as a rehab agency, and then you have accreditation to deal with, because they want to get you accredited. So you'll get all these different things you have to deal with. And for me, that's too much of a headache, so I just do it what I do. But again, with cash-based services, if you have a Medicare client, right, and so a Medicare client is seeing you for knee pain that's limiting them from going up and down their stairs, or some limitation or whatever, they want to see you for continued services that's uncovered, but they don't want to pay your cost because you're a doctor in physical therapy, or you're a physical therapist in general. You're not a doctor. You're a physical therapist in general. They don't want to pay your cost. Then, in that case, since it's uncovered, you can probably have a PTA see that client because it's an uncovered service. And if your State Practice Act says that PTAs can see clients for general or whatever, that's an option or possibility that you can probably utilize as well.
Okay, so a PTA or a CODA, if it's an OT situation,
Yeah,
could see a Medicare beneficiary who is being seen, but they're not being seen for Medicare covered services. If it's like more of a wellness,
a wellness or a fitness program. But again, I would double check your state practice acts too, because some state practice acts have like, you know, direct supervision for outpatient. So make sure you double check with your state practice acts. The last thing you want to do is get in trouble and then, you know, stuff happen. So again, this information is for educational purposes only. Disclaimer.
That's right. Yeah.
Put that aside there quickly.
Right. Do not hold. We're not lawyers.
Or entertainment purposes. Is entertainment or educational? What is it? Entertainment, educational, whatever. The E word, entertainment or educational. One of those two. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I know. Irina. She had a couple questions. One, she was wondering if it's different now with COVID. Could you FaceTime now that it's because of COVID and all that? But also, she wondered about PTA under Medicare Advantage plan, since, as you were saying, Medicare Advantage is really more of a private. It's not the government.
You know, that's a good question. I would say, Lorena, that answers a no, because even though it's commercial, they are still contracted through Medicare. So even though it's a Medicare Advantage plan, they still got to follow the Medicare guidelines. So it still would probably be a no. Now, during COVID, you know, I thought I saw something, and I can't recall how long it was, that they were allowing general supervision. I thought they were, Lorena, but honestly, I'm not. I have to look more into that because I'm not too sure. Maybe Tony knows about that more than I would, but I don't think that it's allowed right now. I think it's still direct, but I could be mistaken. I'll have to look into that for you. But for your other question, like I said, with Medicare Advantage plans, they are contracted by Medicare to follow the Medicare rules. So that would probably be a no.